talk like nigga. Mind over, that hoe don't even. Already had her, I don't wanna.
Just got some breakfast in my system, talked to God about it. You know what I'm saying? And he laid it on me. I got one more album, EP, mixtape, whichever one it's gonna be, I got one more. And it's over, I'm going to find my peace. I ain't gonna lie, like, I wasn't always like this calm, you know what I'm saying? I'm still not as calm as it may seem, you know what I'm saying? I still have my moments where I be ready to like, you know what I'm saying, forget everything. Right. I got real life, probably nobody understand what I'm going through, but like I just said, God put me in this position for a reason, you feel me? And as I've been doing this, I see a lot of people say, I kept them alive or I got them through certain situations, and you know what I'm saying? So just that alone is enough motivation for me to keep going, you feel me? Right.
You know, T.I.P. Thug and Peace to Lil Poppa, man. Yeah, my little nigga right there, you know. Always supported me, looked up to me, my nigga. Always came to Boosie, babe. Solid little nigga too.
I'm okay. For the time being.
So T.I.P. Poppa, nigga, Thug and Peace, nigga.
February 18th, 2026. Fulton County, Georgia. A phone rings. Then another. Then another. Within minutes, the news is spreading across the internet like wildfire, and the hip-hop world stops dead in its tracks. Janarious Michael Wheeler, known to the world as Lil Poppa, is dead at 25 years old. 5 days earlier, he had dropped a brand new single. A concert was booked for next month. His career was climbing. Everything looked fine. But here is the part that will stay with you long after this video ends. Lil Poppa had already told us this was coming. Not in a letter, not in a phone call, not to a friend, in his music, word for word, pain for pain, warning for warning. The question is, was anybody really listening? Welcome to Homicide Exposed, where we tell the stories that the world needs to hear. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now. We drop new cases every week, and you do not want to miss a single one. And before we go any further, drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? Let us build this community together. Now, let us get back to Lil Poppa. To understand how Lil Poppa died, you first have to understand how he lived. Janarious Michael Wheeler was born on November 12, 2000, in Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville is a city that does not get talked about enough, not in the way it should. It is a city where some neighborhoods are beautiful and quiet, and others are loud with struggle, poverty, and pain. Janarious grew up on the harder side of that city, but even as a young boy, he found something that kept him grounded: music. By the age of 7 years old, he was already performing, not on big stages, not for fame. He started singing and performing alongside other kids in his church community. That early foundation gave him something rare, a voice that carried real feeling. As he got older, the streets of Jacksonville began to shape him just as much as the church did. He saw things, he felt things, and instead of letting those things destroy him, he poured them into his art. Lil Poppa was an intensely private person. He never spoke publicly about his parents, his siblings, or his romantic life. No confirmed reports of a partner or children ever surfaced. He kept that world locked away, sharing his pain through lyrics rather than interviews. What he did have, though, was a brotherhood, the Jacksonville rap community. Even that came with its own drama. He and fellow Jacksonville rapper Youngeen Ace had early tensions between them. But over time, those tensions faded. They found common ground, because at the end of the day, they were fighting the same battles. He was not just a rapper. He was a young man trying to survive and make sense of the world through music. In a genre full of loud voices and big personalities, Lil Poppa did something different. He was quiet about it. His delivery was calm, almost conversational, like he was sitting across from you, telling you something he had never told anyone else. While other rappers were chasing hype, Lil Poppa was chasing truth. He rapped about pain, loneliness, loyalty, and the heavy cost of street life. And people felt every single word. That authenticity built him a fan base that was deeply loyal, and the numbers proved it. In May 2021, his project Blessed, I guess, debuted at number 160 on the Billboard 200. For an independent artist from Jacksonville, Florida, that was enormous. He had not been handed anything. He had earned it. He kept going. In May 2022, under investigation, 3 entered the Billboard 200 at number 194, then came Heavy as the Head in November 2022, peaking at number 4 on the Heat Seekers albums chart, his highest charting project yet. That same year, the music industry came calling in a major way. Yo Gotti, one of the most respected names in hip-hop, signed Lil Poppa to his collective music group, CMG, in 2022. A label home to some of the biggest names in the game. It was the kind of cosign that told the world, this kid is the real deal. He spent 2025 on tour, performing for fans across the country. In August 2025, he dropped Almost Normal Again, his most recent album. A title that, looking back now, it feels less like an album name and more like a confession. Producer Scotty OTH, who worked closely with him, called him a great guy, a good human. A&R executive Caroline Barreline Diaz, who worked on 4 of his projects, called him my little brother. These were not just industry compliments. These were people who genuinely loved him. His career was not slowing down. It was accelerating, which makes what happened next so much harder to accept. Here is where this story gets deeply uncomfortable, because when you go back and listen to Lil Poppa's music, really listen, you start to hear something that most people missed the first time around. He was not just rapping about street life. He was rapping about not wanting to be here. Throughout his entire career, Lil Poppa returned to the same themes over and over again. Death, exhaustion, isolation, and the feeling that the weight of life was simply too much to carry. These were not random topics he picked for shock value. They were too consistent, too personal, too real. He rapped about being tired, about feeling alone even when surrounded by people, about wondering how much longer he could keep going. For years, fans connected with those words because they felt them too, but very few stopped to ask, where exactly was this pain coming from? Then came Almost Normal. Again, released in August 2025, just 6 months before his death, the album title alone should have told us everything. Not normal, not healed, not okay, just almost. That one word carries a world of pain inside it. It says, I am trying, but I am not there yet, and I am not sure I ever will be. 5 days before he died, on February 13th, 2026, Lil Poppa released his final single, Out of Town Bay. He was still creating, still putting music into the world, but the silence that followed just days later was deafening. The people closest to him have spoken. Caroline Barreline. Diaz, the A&R executive who worked on 4 of his projects, posted online after his death. I'm so broken. 3 words, but they said everything. Producer Scotty OTH remembered him simply as a great guy, a good human, and CMG, his label, released a statement that read, he was one of those rare artists who thoughtfully poured his pain, growth, and truth into his art. Poured his pain into his art. Read that again. His label, the people who worked with him every single day, described his music as a direct reflection of his pain. Not his imagination. Not a character he played. His pain. So the real question is this. If his music was that honest, that raw, that personal, was Lil Poppa asking for help the entire time? Drop a comment below. Do you think artists use their music to send messages that the rest of us are too distracted to hear? Let us know what you think. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it right now. This story is far from over. Now let us walk through the final days of Lil Poppa's life. February 13th, 2026. Lil Poppa drops Out of Town Bay, his brand new single. On the surface, everything looks normal. He is active. He is creating. He is an artist in full motion. Fans are excited. The comments are rolling in. Nobody sees anything wrong. But 5 days later, everything changes. To understand the weight of what happened, you have to understand what his life looked like leading up to it. Throughout 2025, Lil Poppa had been on tour, city after city, show after show. That kind of life looks glamorous from the outside, but the reality of being on the road for months is something very different. You are away from everything familiar, away from the people who know you best. Night after night in a different city, a different room, a different crowd, and then silence when the show is over. He also had a birthday bash concert booked in New Orleans for March. Plans were in place. The future looked full. Then came February 18th, 2026. At approximately 11:20 in the morning, Janarious Michael Wheeler, Lil Poppa, was found dead in Fulton County, Georgia. He was 25 years old. Authorities confirmed his death and immediately launched an investigation. At that point, the cause of death was listed as pending, or as the hip-hop world held its breath. The following morning, February 19th, the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office completed his autopsy and released their findings. The cause of death was ruled a suicide by self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. No public note was found. No specific location within Fulton County was disclosed. No warning signs had been publicly reported. Just silence. New music on one side. An upcoming concert on the other. And in the middle, a young man who had been carrying something so heavy that nobody around him fully understood it. The contrast is almost impossible to process. When the news broke, the hip-hop world did not just mourn. It stopped. Artists who rarely speak publicly on losses like this one came forward. Boozy Badazz, Mozzie, Dejloaf, or Nenardo Wick all paid their respects, each one speaking to the kind of person Lil Poppa was, both on and off the mic. But perhaps the most powerful tribute came from someone who once stood on the opposite side of a rivalry, Youngane Ace. The fellow Jacksonville rapper, who had history with Lil Poppa before they eventually made peace, said it simply and honestly. Same dreams, same problems. 6 words. And they said more than any long speech ever could. Back in Jacksonville, the city that raised him, the city that shaped every word he ever rapped, the grief was personal. This was not just a famous person who had died. This was their son, their voice. His label, CMG Records, released a full statement that read, "We are stunned and devastated by the loss of our beloved family member, Janarious Lil Poppa Wheeler." Poppa was more than just a talented artist. He was an ambitious young man with depth beyond his years and endless potential. He was one of those rare artists who thoughtfully poured his pain, growth, and truth into his art. His passion and authenticity connected and inspired fans from all walks of life. Poppa, we promise to uphold your legacy with honor and respect. We are all better because of you. Long live Lil Poppa. And Caroline Barreline Diaz, the woman who called him her little brother, posted just 3 words online. "I'm so broken." His final album was called Almost Normal Again. He never got the chance to get all the way there. Lil Poppa's death is a tragedy, but it does not have to be a lesson that goes unlearned. Let us talk about something that nobody in the music industry likes to talk about: the pressure to always appear strong. In hip-hop, showing pain is often seen as weakness. Artists are expected to be tough, unbothered, untouchable. So when someone is struggling on the inside, they do what Lil Poppa did. They put it in the music and hope that somebody, somewhere, is really listening. But here's the truth. Art can be a cry for help, and we have to start treating it that way. When an artist spends years rapping about exhaustion, isolation, and not wanting to carry on, that is not just creativity. That is a person telling you something real. The people around that artist, friends, family, label executives, producers, have a responsibility to look beyond the music and check on the human being behind it. Tour life makes this even harder. Months on the road means months away from the people who truly know you. That kind of isolation is dangerous, and the industry needs to do better. Real support systems, real conversations, real resources, not just after someone is gone, but while they are still here. And to anyone watching this right now who sees themselves in Lil Poppa's lyrics, who feels tired, alone, or like the weight is just too much, please reach out. You can call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It is free, it is confidential, and someone will answer. Lil Poppa poured his pain into his music because he did not know where else to put it. You have somewhere to put yours. Make the call. Janarious Michael Wheeler came into this world on November 12, 2000 in Jacksonville, Florida. He left it on February 18, 2026, at just 25 years old. And he gave us his pain. He gave us his truth. He gave us his music. And looking back now, he gave us something else too. A warning. It was there in every lyric, every album title, every song he ever released. His lyrics were not just art. They were the message. And the most heartbreaking part of this entire story is not that he sent it. It is that the world did not hear it in time. Long live Lil Poppa. If this story moved you, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find it, and this is a story that deserves to be heard. Share it with someone who needs to see it. And if you are not subscribed to Homicide Exposed yet, hit that button right now. We have a brand new case dropping very soon, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. Stay safe, stay aware, and we will see you in the next one.